Hi, I'm Christine Bakke, and I actually met Peterson at one of his plays, Doing Time in Homo Nomo Halfway House, and that's what actually got me started doing this work and got me started doing my own art and processing my own ex-gay experience, because up until that point I had not been able to even really face my own experience or know how to look at it or think about it or talk about it. And that's one of the things we find, is that if people through their art are able to process their experience, think about it, look at it, sort of unpack it, like Peterson said, we need to unpack it, we need to heal from it, like others have talked about. The healing is so important because the pain is so deep. And so we put together this art show, and so I'd like to just show a few things. This actually is art by John Evans, who was one of the founders of Love in Action. He's now openly gay. He was also featured in one of the original books about ex-gays called The Third Sex. He was Ted in that book. They were anonymous. He was Ted. So Ted is now out. Everyone, Ted is now out. John Evans is out, proudly gay. This is his art that he sent along for the show. This is Dan Gonzalez' work about coming out, and that's when he came out to his mother. And actually, Dan is here. Dan, would you like to say a word really quickly about this? Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, this is a self-portrait. It's really about what we as gay youth choose to do with our sexuality. Where I use the lock metaphor. The world really presents us with one option, whereas I'm being a gay person, that option exactly doesn't work for me. I've got a combination, whereas the world is giving me, they're expecting a key. So.
Thanks, Dan.
Sure.
On the spot. There you go. This is some wonderful photography by a Portland artist, Greg Moreland, and he does a lot of work, doors and windows and things opening up. He talks a lot about feeling trapped in the past and trying to find his way and trying to find his way out. He's another ex-gay survivor. So this is his work. We also have work by another ex-gay survivor, Barbara Levitt, and she's an ex-gay survivor in a unique way in that she's married to a man who is also an ex-gay survivor. He is gay, and they were married for nearly 25 years. And so she has been through all of this as the wife of a gay man, which is a very unique position because she has suffered through this in a unique way, but has not had the support that he's had even in coming out, because now he's come out, he has a partner. What does she do now? Where does she go? They were in the Mormon church together. They had, they had a life together, and now she's single at 48 and doesn't have the support and doesn't have, so she has a very unique set of issues of being the survivor of this ex-gay marriage that didn't work out, basically. Right here is some of my art. This is actually what was a house of cards, which is now, as you see, not anymore. These are all little collages that I did. This one's a key that says Exodus. I thought it was going to be the key to a lot of things in my life. It turned out not to be. So these are all actual individual collages on cards, and it formed a house of cards that I didn't see was a house of cards at the time that I moved to do the ex-gay programs that I went to. It was very exciting at the time. I thought, wow, this is great, and it didn't end up being that, and it all finally collapsed under the weight of itself, probably, and it just like that. And so now I've had to rebuild, but I'm rebuilding something solid, not out of cards. That's what I'm rebuilding now.
I've got them out here.
You brought them out.
Okay. All right, you have Jason T. Ingram's art. This one's called
House of Prayer.
House of Prayer.
For all nations.
For all nations. And he did this while he was at a program called
called Pure Life Ministries,
Pure Life
in
Ministries
Northern Kentucky.
in Northern Kentucky.
It's not officially an ex-gay ministry, but there's probably maybe from a half to a third of the men that go through that program have same-sex attraction backgrounds. So they have definitely an ex-gay stance.
And this one is called Jonah.
And it's a symbolism of death and rebirth. I felt like me challenging my same-sex attractions was something that I wanted to let it die. From my perspective, it was in order to please God. But, you know, I see it now as just, you know, being an experience that now I'm not only able to help inform people about the ex-gay type messages, but at the same time, you know, I challenged myself to a point that now I feel like I'm more confident in who I am, even though it's only been a couple of years since I've been out of that program and that I've been out of the ex-gay world, so to speak. So you see here, you know, here's the grains of wheat here that are falling to the ground and dying, and then you see the rebirth of the flowers. And I like to put the image of the cross in a lot of my pictures as well. Here's the boat that Jonah was on before he had his fish experience, and his whole thing was about, you know, being in the belly of the great fish and going through that death process. And that's really what it was. And I think that God used that experience to help me, even though there was a lot of harm done and a lot of damage, a lot of lies and things that I've really had to get over.
And this is Alex's art. And he's a transgender man from Sweden. And his art are these small monster pieces. And they really come out of his experience of starting to be at home in his own body. Because he was really trapped in a female body for 25 years. And when he started coming out and started being able to accept himself, you know, a lot of insecurities started coming up. And at the same time, when he started drawing and he started becoming creative again, he started doing these monster pictures, which really deal with a lot of insecurity. I am the most lonely monster in the world, and all of them are saying that. So if you get a chance, definitely check out these small pieces.